All right, let's talk about the Niners and whether they're playoff bound. In your opinion, are they?
Yeah.
Why?
After the schedule, that's so easy for this team. I think it's the weakest schedule in the past few years. A lot of talent just came back from injuries. I think there are improvements on the offensive side of the ball. There are improvements on the defensive side of the ball. I don't think that this team will miss Richard Sherman as much as some people think they will miss him. And Jimmy is motivated. And that's a thing which we haven't seen since he arrived to San Francisco. And we all know that how he can play when he is motivated. So, and Kyle is motivated as well. We discussed it before. Why? Because he needs to get rid of Jimmy on the highest value possible. So I think this team will achieve great things during the season. I'm not saying that they will be Super Bowl contenders, but they must be playoff bound right now, I think. And I'm happy that I can say that, because last year was the season when I couldn't say that, and I was quite angry because of that.
Yeah. No, I think they should be as well. I mean, even if Jimmy Garoppolo gets hurt, Trey Lance has a good enough team around him that he should be able to go to the playoffs. Let me look at the division. You mentioned the schedule. It is easy. The division. Everyone looks at the Rams like they're great. They got Matthew Stafford. That's a big upgrade. They lost a lot of stuff. They lost a bunch of players on defense. They lost a bunch of coaches. And they have, I want to say, almost $40 million in dead cap space. Yeah. I don't think it's a really good roster. I think it's Jalen Ramsey, Matthew Stafford, Aaron Donald, Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods. That's it. That's their team. So, the Niners are better than them, no matter who their quarterback is. And then the Cardinals, maybe. I don't know. I mean, what have they ever proven? And then the Seahawks are always the Seahawks. Seahawks are really tough because Pete Carroll's a hell of a head coach and Russell Wilson's a Hall of Fame quarterback. Takes you pretty far, but the Niners always play them well. I mean, they almost beat them with C.J. Beathard last year. So, yeah, I think they do match up. I think this division isn't as good as people think. I mean, I think the Rams are extremely overrated.
If I'm looking at the division right now, I must say that maybe this division right now is the weakest since years. So Cardinals may be a surprise.
I mean, the Seahawks are slowly on the way down. Yeah. They're not getting better.
Yeah, the Seahawks is a one-man team in the past few years. That's what I think of. If there wasn't Russell Wilson, they just. I'm sorry just to say that, but they will suck without.
And their ability to protect him gets worse and worse every year.
Yeah,
I don't know. Their offensive line is terrible, and he's not as quick as he used to be. And now he's starting to complain. It's almost like looking like an Aaron Rodgers situation where he's getting upset with ownership. I don't know about that team. The Niners certainly could win this division. I just don't know if they're going to win a playoff game. I mean, I think it's that. To me, that all depends on Jimmy. I mean, Trey Lance, if he has to play this year, that's great experience. But the last 21-year-old quarterback I can remember in the playoffs was Lamar Jackson. And he was terrible. And he's a great quarterback. He came back the next year great. But his first year, when in the playoffs, he looked 21. How could you blame him? So I think it really depends on Jimmy, how far this team goes. I think he's a very important person this year. He's not going to be on the team next year. But this year, I think he's very important. Yeah. So I think he's the X factor.
But there's a factor as well, because this team performed in the playoffs without Jimmy, without a passing game.
It did.
Just because of Brandon Ayuk and all those fantastic running backs. Running back position just got an upgrade after the draft. That's why I think that with or without Jimmy, this team is playoff bound. He may play poor sometimes this season.
Josh Rosen takes the team to the playoffs.
Yeah, that's always a factor with Jimmy, that he plays poor sometimes, but somehow I got the feeling that this team is playoff bound, at least for the divisional championship.
I think so too.
That's what I'm thinking right now.